rise if you're able to please allegiance to this great nation of ours. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Madam Clerk, will you go ahead and do roll call, please?
Chair Bucknam,
Present.
Vice Chair Fissler,
Here.
Commissioner Dabbert,
Here.
Commissioner Wong, Commissioner McGregor,
Here.
Commissioner Wagner,
Here.
Commissioner Freshley,
Here.
Commissioner Moore,
Present.
Commissioner Penrose,
Here.
and we have a quorum.
Thank you. I do know that Commissioner Wong is running late, so she'll join us shortly. Do we have any announcements for supplemental communications?
None received.
Thank you. Do we have any public comment?
No speaker cards received.
Thank you. And on the consent calendar for the minutes as well as the personnel policies. Anybody interested in pulling anything, or I'll take a motion to approve?
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Oh, sorry. Were there any public comments?
No public comment.
Okay. No, it's thank you. Okay, so that sounded unanimous to me. Thank you. Okay, moving on. We do have a public hearing, and this is for the activation of latent powers for 3 Arch Bay Community Services District. The Commission will consider the proposed activation of latent powers for 3 Arch Bay Community Services District for park and recreational services. As a responsible agency, the Commission will also consider the notice of exemption in accordance with the California Environmental Quality Act, also known as CEQA, for the proposed activation of the latent powers. And at this point, we'll go ahead and have a staff report.
Yes. Good morning, Madam Chair and Commissioners. The item before you is the proposed activation of lane powers for 3 Arch Bay Community Service District. So for today's Commission consideration is the activation of lane powers for 3 Arch Bay Community Service Districts, which would be for park and recreation services in accordance with government code sections. 3 Arch Bay was established in 1954 with an acreage, and their service area has an acreage area of 147.2. It has a population estimated a little bit over 1,000, and the land use of the area is village low to medium density and local business. They currently provide stormwater protection services and then also security services. What the district is proposing and asking the Commission is to activate the lane powers to provide park and recreational services, which would include maintenance of park, sports courts, and then also beach amenities. Some of those maintenance would include upgrades to the turf areas, upgrades to the planter bed, hardscape areas, and then also recreational building. And also would include maintenance of beach amenities. As for recreational activities, it would include sports activities, community activities, and then also lifeguard services, which would be provided in the months of March, April, June, and in some of the dates going to September. Based on the projections that the district provided and their current revenues and expenditures, the district is in a good position to provide the parking and recreational services. They are projecting that the cost for those services for maintenance would increase by $5,000 and then 5% over the 5 years span. During the recent MSR that was conducted on the district, through the fiscal analysis, it was also determined that they are in a good position to provide the current services and the services that they are requesting to provide. Additionally, the reserves, the district is currently working on a management plan, which will determine how they're going to use part of their reserves to do the maintenance of the infrastructure. And in their projections, they've taken that into consideration so that they're able to maintain those services. So therefore, for today, staff is recommending that the Commission adopt the resolution direct the executive officer to file a notice of exemption, establish a 30-day reconsideration period, and also set a 30-day protest proceeding. This concludes my presentation. I do want to let the commission know that the general manager, Jeremy Pipp, is in the hearing today. Also, Allison Byrne, which is their attorney, and lastly, their board member, Bob Black, is also here.
Thank you. Are there any public sorry. Can we do public comments? Okay, any public comments?
No speaker cards received. Okay.
Go ahead. Commissioner Wang.
Yeah, a couple of questions. I don't intend, obviously, I'm not going to vote against this, I'd be supportive, but my first question is, they're coming to us asking for approval, and what are our constraints under, how do we evaluate this? And I know there's a case out of Monterey, and there's an appeal up there, and we think the trial court got it wrong, but kind of outline for me, when would we say no, or what would make us say no, because sounds fine to me, and then I have a follow-up question.
So part of the, sorry.
There may be too many mics on. Try it now.
I turned off mine.
So part of the analysis for the activation lane powers, one, they have to have a fiscal, it has to be fiscally feasible, meaning they should be able to support it based on their current revenues and current expenditures and projecting that out. So that would be one. They have the revenues to do these services that they're requesting. Another one would be if there is submitted comments from a city, or not city, but from another agency requesting that they provide the services. So that would be another element that is used to review. The second one, or the third one, would be if there's any opposition that is presented through the residents of the special district. And through those, we're able to analyze whether they are able to provide that service and then come with the recommendations to the commission.
Okay, so none of that's in place, so that would be my next question. Frankly, I don't get it. The homeowners association says it's concerned it won't be able to pay for this, so the service district's gonna step in and they can pay for it. I would assume more or less those are same groups of people. And so how can the different pocket, as Commissioner Moore says, afford this when the other pocket can't, in a circumstance where, according to the report, it will not result in any additional assessments to the residents? And the short answer might be reserves, but reserves run out. So how come it's sustainable for one group but not the other?
Well, I think, sorry.
Well, you're in the HOA world, and if whoever can answer that question, and maybe the folks here can, and it's, again, not gonna stop me from voting for this, but I'm like, give me 2 minutes as to why that's the case.
So for homeowners associations, my understanding is that there is a fee that residents pay for the services that they're gonna be providing. So what the district is collecting revenues, they collect revenues from two sources, or three. From providing a fee for the security services, collecting a fee, and then collecting a fee from stormwater, and they get a portion of the ad valorem property tax. So that's the revenue that they're using to fund the services. Now, the intent is not for the district to take over every source of maintenance. So the homeowners association will continue to do any upgrades or anything that has to be done in terms of upgrading those facilities infrastructure-wise. And then secondly, one of the other items is, for example, tree trimming. That's not going to go over to the district, so that's not going to be a responsibility of the district. It's just the maintenance aspect and some of the recreational activities. So the HOA has that funding that they collect through the fees of those residents to the source.
So I would just add really quick, and then I'll grab over here. One of the things that does happen as new developments come in is there's a reconciliation of CFDs that pay through property tax, and then they take care of certain components of these new development communities, and then the HOA has their assessment that takes care of another set of things. And as things are being set up, this is kind of going backwards, but as things move forward, we're seeing more of this in new developments, if that helps, John, to just try to fund things from two different pools, if you will. Okay.
I'll move approval.
I have a question. I assume the HOA is not a private, it's a private organization, but it's not walled. Is it totally walled?
Yes, I thought it
Because
was.
if it's totally walled, my understanding is you can't use the funds that are devoted to a city or to the government inside a private community.
This is a unique situation. Yeah, this is a unique situation, but got it. And then,
So I don't know if that's the situation there.
let's respond to that first.
I can help you with that.
Okay.
That's not correct. Throughout our county, we have multiple examples, Emerald Bay, Catastrophic Beach, there are many older communities that were set up. Surfside is gated, they have community services districts, there are many examples through the county. where that's the case. I beg your pardon?
Yes, they are gated.
Yeah, they're all gated and walled, they're all completely secure to anybody else that comes in, they're restricted to only residents. And they have informed the CSD to provide certain municipal services, and that's perfectly legal.
Got it. Anything to add?
Well, this is a good issue. We are kind of picking it up the way we found it in terms of revenue streams to this district and the division of functions between the HOA and the district. So what this is, thank you for raising it. It's an issue that we want you to think about and that we've discussed. But what we wanted, what we didn't think you ought to do is reconsider and rethink that determination of what's a public purpose, even though some of these public services are developed to a discrete community in the HOA. What Luis and staff have done, though, is made sure, and we've worked with the applicant on this, is to make sure that where public revenues, especially the ad valorem taxes, are funding service, they're services that could be provided, that should be provided by the government. So even though they're within the wall, this report and this decision are careful to make sure that where public money is going, you're funding public functions, lifeguards, security, not birthday parties, and retirement packages or gold watches for residents, let's say.
I have a comment that, and I love this one, because it strongly indicates to us why we should always be looking at the property tax issue. That to me, it is so clear. I cannot understand how anyone would get this confused. We have an excessive amount of money in property taxes paid every year, and he who gets the property taxes has the benefit. And anyone who doesn't understand that property taxes are an issue, the amount that we pay now, and those people who want to remove any burdens or controls, I have to say, my goodness, look around you and understand how this works. This is a perfect example. It should be used when we're trying to defend Prop 13. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments, Derek? And I didn't hear a second.
I'll second.
Thank you.
I think we need to get public
We need
comment.
to open for.
Right.
Just two questions. How did you pick the 30-day appeal period, and do we anticipate that there would be any opposition to this?
So the 30-day, by statute, is between 21 and 60 days. So considering just that it is an activation of latent powers within the 30 days. So it's at the discretion of the code section and the proposal. And for oppositions, we've talked with the staff from the district, and based on what they've given us, they said that we don't expect any. But during the process proceedings, we do send out a notice to every voting resident and homeowner. So they will get that notice, and then we'll conduct the process proceedings.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, so what I'll go ahead and do now is go ahead and open up the public hearing. Do we have any comment? Would anybody like to make any comments based on what you heard? This would be the time.
Good morning. Good morning, Commissioners. Thank you for your time. My name is Allison Burns. I'm General Counsel for Three Arch Bay Community Services District. Just wanted to briefly say thank you for the time and attention asking the important question, Commissioner Freshley. This is not at all unusual in Orange County. For example, the things that we worked with staff on to look at the question of the gates was, how Leisure World was handled when it became a city and things like that. So this is not at all unusual in Orange County. It is entirely consistent with existing practices and also consistent with the powers granted to the Three Arch Bay Community Services District when it was formed in 1957 by the Orange County Board of Supervisors. So we originally did have recreational powers. They stopped doing it, and so during one of our MSRs, it fell off, and now we're looking to do it again and have plenty of funds to do so. So just wanted to add that color. If there are any questions, we're happy to answer them. And again, General Manager is present with us, and Bob Buck, one of our board members. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Any other comments? And so thank you for that additional information. That was good to know. Okay. Yes.
I would just like to comment, Jim and I and Catherine have, over the last several years, made rounds to a number of the special districts, and we did have the opportunity to visit Three Arch Bay and get a feel for the community. And this seems like a perfectly appropriate action, having been down there, having looked around, knowing the community a little bit. I just want to add that. So I'm seconding Tom's motion and go from there.
Thank you. Commissioner Freshley.
Yeah, I don't disagree that if this has been fully researched, it's the right thing to do because it helps the people who are living there as well as operating the community itself. And I think that's what my only concern is because there have been situations, and Scott, maybe you can correct me, but I know that Seal Beach, Leisure World, Seal Beach itself had funds, and they were going to fund ADA at the corners. And they had received, I don't know, so much money for it, and they were told they couldn't use those funds within Leisure World. And I don't understand the difference.
Was it special district funds?
No.
Okay, so is that the difference?
Is that the difference? And I guess I don't understand how the defining it, and is it different from a city to a special district?
I'll just, if you want to share,
Please.
I don't know that particular case, but what's before you, what your role is to make sure that the use of these public funds will be for a public purpose. It is unusual that the recipients of the services are a discrete group within the walls, but that's how this district was set up. So what you really have before you today is deciding whether these services should be continued to be provided. This is really, what would you call it, housekeeping, because it's come to us, so all of us, a little bit frayed in terms of how it's supposed to work. But what you're deciding here is whether these services should be continued to be provided by the district or assigned to the county or some neighboring city or somebody else. And I think that decision is pretty compelling. And then whether the ad valorums ought to be assigned to some other entity or remain funding the services here. So and there are some nuances to that second question. This is unusual from just providing services in Westminster where anyone can come and go and use them. But we think that in setting up this opportunity, the legislature knew back in the day, made a determination already that this was okay in terms of use of funds for these purposes. And we're just kind of polishing it up as best we can according to the new mandate to either activate or turn off services that are being provided but not legitimately.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I'm going to go to Commissioner Hayden. Oh, because, yeah, some of us have our mic. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Oh, it's okay. I just have kind of a general question there. In here, it's an estimation of $5,000 increase in annual cost. Is that kind of low in terms of, estimation for, I've never driven down there. I don't know how big your parks and beaches are, but I just thought that $5,000 annual increase is kind of low, and whether or not you sufficiently budgeted.
So, Commissioner,
You turn off your. There you go.
Commissioner, based on the information that the district gave us in terms of projecting out the cost, that's roughly what they estimated to increase it by. So based on their projections and, I think for the general manager actually looked at it a couple of times just to ensure that that was mostly accurate information that he was providing based on information that he had also from the homeowners association.
Our purposes, when we look,
What are the total costs?
So for the first year, they're projecting, the base year was 25-26, which is $165,000. And then it goes up $5,000. But I do want to point out that what they're working on is just strictly maintenance. So they're not doing infrastructure repairs, or that's going to stay with the homeowners association. So it's just the maintenance aspect that they're taking care of. With LAFCO services, definitely they're going to be providing the LAFCO services. But they were very clear that that's going to remain separate. So it's mostly maintenance that the district is going to be doing.
oh, okay, well, thank you for that clarification, then that makes sense, like $5,000.
Yeah, and if you look at the chart that's on page, it's the chart, what page is this? Anyways, if you look at this chart, it shows expenditures and it shows all the total expenditures, which probably looks a little more realistic. So, but it's the increase you were referring to, but it's an increase to existing expenditures.
Thank you.
Okay. I think I answered that right. Okay.
Ready to vote?
All right. Any other comments, questions? Oh, do we need to close the public hearing? Okay, we'll go ahead and close the public hearing. Any other comments, questions? Carol, did you have something else? Because I skipped over to Peggy.
I was just gonna correct something that I don't know if she was referring to Seal Beach, but the Leisure World in Laguna Woods, it is different. It is not the same because there are homes
I don't
outside.
think either one is comparable to this.
So there is a difference. So I wouldn't compare those two at all because that's not a consistency. I didn't see any problem with this, and I saw the reserves, obviously, once again, are pretty healthy.
Yeah.
So I didn't see this was any kind of an issue. Thank you.
Thank you, Carol. Okay, I'll go ahead and call for the question. Go ahead and do, all in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Do we have to read something specific? Do we have to do roll call?
No, unless there's opposition, no.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, unanimous.
Looks like a win.
Thank you for coming, providing some information for us. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay. That leads us to legislative report for February 2026.
I will turn it over to Amy Diaz.
Good morning, Commissioners. The item brought before you today is an update on recently reviewed legislation and legal efforts, as well as an update on the LAFCO legislative efforts as well. And so on January 5th, the legislature reconvened for its second year of the 2025-2026 session. On January 31st, any bills that were introduced in 2025 had to have action taken by the legislature in order for them to remain eligible for consideration for the rest of the year. And any new bills that are proposed for the session have to be introduced by February 20th. And so for some previously reviewed legislative efforts, in March of 2024, staff provided the Commission with an update on a UC Berkeley report titled LAFCO and Water System Consolidation, Bridging the Gap Between Local and State Regulators to Stop and Reverse Water System Fragmentation. And this report mainly focused on the coordination gaps between state and local regulators regarding small and failing water systems. So from this, a stakeholder group was formed, mostly comprised of multiple LAFCOs, an author from the report, and local community-based organizations. And the stakeholder group was formed mostly to discuss these issues. And so in February of 2025, staff provided an update on these discussions. At the time, the stakeholder group was focusing more so on the coordination gaps between state and local regulators, and it began to kind of shift its focus to the barriers of consolidation in terms of providing these water services and exploring different ways to improve that coordination between agencies. And so since then, discussions have continued with the group, and the group has since then shifted its focus to instead focus on proposing amendments to existing provisions within the CKH Act. And these would further strengthen LAFCO's ability to support the provision of safe water and wastewater services, and improve coordination between the state and local regulators. And these proposed changes were developed with the intent to uphold LAFCO's mission to promote orderly growth and the efficient delivery of municipal services, particularly in those communities who are facing declared public health and safety threats involving the provision of water and wastewater services. And so there are three proposed changes to the CKH Act. The first one is to authorize LAFCO to initiate boundary changes and out-of-area service agreements in response to documented public health and safety threats involving the provision of water and wastewater services. And these would be documented threats by either the State Water Resources Control Board, Regional Water Quality Control Boards, or county departments responsible for environmental or public health. The second proposed change would be to require noticing of MSRs, and also requiring written responses from the agencies, just acknowledging receipt of an MSR. LAFCO already does, we already do noticing for MSRs, and we also work really closely with the agencies throughout the MSR process. And so the third proposed change would be to extend information sharing as requested by LAFCO, just to include mobile home parks as well. And so these proposed changes are consistent with LAFCO's legislative policy of supporting strengthening of LAFCO's authority and promoting good governance to ensure the effective and efficient delivery of municipal services. However, staff does acknowledge that there is a need for distributing these amendments to other stakeholders and just to gather feedback from them, to identify concerns or needed revisions, as well as ensuring broader support beyond LAFCO's. And so staff is not recommending that the commission take a position at this time. Staff is requesting direction to continue to participate with the stakeholder group and then provide an update at the March meeting. And so in addition to the legislative efforts, at the September 2025 meeting, the commission received an overview of the court case Monterey Peninsula Water Management District versus Monterey LAFCO. And this arose from Monterey LAFCO's denial from the water district requesting to activate latent powers to provide retail water services to a portion of the county. And so following the trial court's ruling in favor of the water management district and Monterey LAFCO's appeal, LAFCO was approved to participate in the amicus brief to clarify the application of the CKH Act's substantial evidence standard and to highlight potential precedent of the court's ruling. And so the appellate filings are scheduled as follows. So Monterey LAFCO has until March 6th to submit their reply brief. And from there, the Water Management District can submit their final reply. Once that is all finished, the amicus brief is expected to be submitted on April 9th, about 14 days after the district's reply. And then finally, regarding the Alliance of LAFCOs, at the January 26th meeting, the legislative committee did provide an update on the search for a consultant to assist in monitoring legislation relative to LAFCOs. And so the Alliance selected Chris Lee from the political group under contract not to exceed $40,000. And it is to be shared between all the four members of LAFCOs, sharing one-fourth of the cost. And so staff will continue to participate with the Alliance Legislative Committee and will continue to provide updates to the Commission at future meetings. And so with all of that, and based on these efforts, staff is requesting the Commission direct staff to continue participating in these stakeholder group discussions related to the water and wastewater efforts, and provide an update at the March meeting with the recommendation for Commission consideration. And so this does conclude my presentation, and I'm available for any questions.
Thank you. Are there any public comments on this? There's none. Okay, thank you. Commissioner Chapman.
So on taking on these first point, the water, there, I hope the Alliance will take this up very seriously. This is to me classic LAFCO mission creep, continued expansion of the CPH Act, which seems to be very unnecessary. For those of you not in the water industry, I will tell you that water systems and water agencies, regardless of size, and you can verify this, are heavily regulated already. There are many, many authorities that govern these, that deal with the issues of small systems, that deal with the issues of failing systems, and to add LAFCOs into that as an initiator, to me, seems unnecessary. LAFCOs are there to be a resource. LAFCOs are there to ensure order of the organization. But when it comes to initiating the shutdown or the transfer or the reassignment of water and wastewater services, that needs to be left to the water and wastewater world, in my humble opinion. Having not only served on water district for 4 years, but working on one for 6. So just want to put that out there. So Derek, I hope you'll take that up and you'll share that perspective.
Already shared that perspective.
Thank you. And I will note it does reference in response to documented public health and safety threats.
Which I get, but the State Water Resources Control Board takes care of that.
Okay.
The regional water quality control boards take care of that. Department of Drinking Water takes care of that. And there should not be a role for LAFCO in that as well. They're not experts on the water. They're not experts on the water.
And we're not looking to take that position today. Today we're just saying let's keep monitoring.
Just give me my 2 cents.
Got you.
Mr. McGregor.
I just want to make sure everybody knows what we're doing. Okay. All right. Any other comments or motion?
I'll make a comment. I'm happy you already addressed that, and Doug and I have always talked about the mission creep here at LAFCO and being a resource rather than an initiator. So, good comments, Doug.
I'll take a motion.
What?
It says direct staff to continue to partake.
Sure.
So
Of the recommendation, second by Commissioner Wagner. Any other comment? All in favor?
Yes.
Any opposed? Any abstaining? Okay, that's unanimous. Okay, with that, we go to commissioner comments. So give us any comments on anything that's going on in your areas or, thank you. Commissioner Wagner.
Briefly, and to the surprise of absolutely no one, the board chairman has asked that I stay on this committee, and we were unable to find anybody else to join me. So I have re-upped for another term. Thank you, guys.
congratulations.
Congratulations.
Well, we are
Good, I asked.
We're glad. We love continuity.
You want to talk about your budget?
No.
Okay. Anybody else?
I have
Okay.
a question.
Okay, sure, Carol, go ahead.
A strange one, but how are mobile home parks, how are they taxed? Is it the whole entire thing or by each unit? Does anyone know that?
No.
Most mobile home parks are one parcel, and they do one property tax to the entire parcel. Now, there are exceptions to that. The groves and Irvine, which each individual lot is owned by the homeowner.
Like an
Those are all separate parcels, and they each pay an individual property tax, so it depends on the configuration of the mobile home park.
Then there's a vehicle tax on the coach, even if it's 2 stories and worth $4 million.
So just vehicle tax. Oh, very interesting. Okay, the executive officer's report.
My only announcement is these scheduled workshop that the Alliance is gonna have on March 24th here in Irvine. We put a flyer for the commissioners. I will send out another reminder, but that's gonna take place on March 24th from 9:30 to 3. And it's gonna be in the Irvine Duck Club.
In the Irvine,
The Duck Club.
oh, the Duck Club, excuse me. Oh, yes, I saw that. Thank you. I thought you said Elks Club, where I'm getting my animals mixed up, sorry. Okay, all right, thank you for that information. It looks like we don't have any informational items or announcements. And then we're come to adjournment, and today, I'd like to adjourn in memory of Jimmy Benjamin, Cheryl's husband who passed in November. If we could adjourn in memory of him. Thank you, everybody. Meeting adjourned.